Okay guys, I'm here today in Montreal with Nick Drossos. Nick Drossos has a YouTube channel that's called Nick Drossos, and he's probably like the most popular self-defense coach in the world. I have seen some videos from him that there are like 14 million views, 11 million views. His channel has like 50,000 followers. And he does a bunch of like social experiments on his channel that's very cool. He pretty much like creates the scenario and creates how he would do to defend himself and sometimes defending his girlfriend on these situations. And it's cool to see him doing that because he worked for a long time as a bouncer on the toughest clubs here in Montreal. And it's cool because, for example, I came from the Jiu-Jitsu, so I'm using about Jiu-Jitsu, right? So every time we talk about self-defense, we see from the Jiu-Jitsu angle. He's not like an expert on any martial arts, but he has like the principles of everyone. So he understands about grappling, he understands about striking, he understands about this. So he put everything together plus his experience as a bouncer, and he created this very good knowledge about self-defense. So today I'm gonna talk with him, like that's something that I see that every Jiu-Jitsu guy is curious, you know what I mean? Like, if we start on a street fight, for example, one guy tries to attack you, what's the first thing you should do, you know? If you are in the bar, for example, it can be dangerous to double leg one guy and then he goes to the ground and then the guy has a bunch of friends and that. So striking might be a good option, right? It's always good to have the Jiu-Jitsu in the back to defend yourself if you need. But let's imagine someone is trying to attack you. What's the first thing you should do? This guy has a lot of experience because he worked on these clubs. He told me that it was like over 100 fights that he had to get in because every time it happens on a fight and he's the one who is there. So let's see here.
It's interesting when you say about the grappling, right? And I worked one time with a guy who was really good grappling. He was a phenomenal grappler. And when we worked in the club and I first met him, I told him, like, I love grappling. There's so many good elements that you need in grappling, but if, you know, against multiple attackers, against certain environments, if you try to take me down, go for an armbar, the biggest factor is there's somebody that's going to get involved, and when you hit the ground, people are just going to start kicking. Once you go on the ground, boom, people are booting, they're using their belts, they're striking. So the grappling is great for positioning and moving, but you need to strike, right? So I try to keep it as simple as possible, and that's the thing in the street. The more complex you make it, the more technical, the more moves, the more like your brain's gonna just kind of short circuit.
I always tell everywhere that in my opinion, like the best self-defense ever, like, for a fight, for a street fight, I'm not talking about if the guy comes with a gun or with a knife or whatever. In my opinion, it's like when you know Jiu-Jitsu and when you know some striking. You're good with boxing or you're good with Muay Thai, then you are complete, you know, because if it goes to the ground, you know what to do, and if you stay standing, you know what to do. If there are 2 or 3 guys, you can hit one, knocking out, go to the second one. So that's my opinion, but I agree with you, like especially against the multiple attackers, Jiu-Jitsu can be tough.
You need a strategy, not to say it's going to be easy, but you need a strategy. Some people say, oh, you can't do anything against monsters. You could, but you just need to know, well, how do I position myself? Who do I strike first? Can I pick up an improvised weapon? Where do I strike? You know, if you're going to take, if we were faced with multiple attackers, the idea is if I have 2 people, I want to try to make, instead of a 2-on-1, I want to make it into 1-on-1. So I want to take out the first guy. Some of the most important things that I think I teach and that are simple is just bringing up your hands from here, like a natural position. You know, when I used to work in the clubs, I used to sit here. I used to talk to the guys here. I was always here because my hands were up. I could strike the throat. I could come up with the palm strike. I could come, and if you decide to punch, boom, my hand's already up. And I'm in a natural position. Nobody ever saw this as a threat. Same thing as if I'm here, I'm talking to the person, boom, I could hammer fist, I can strike the throat, I could come up with the palm strike. This doesn't require years and years of training. It's as simple as learning how to keep your hands up, understanding the angles of attack, and training that first preemptive strike. Again, like when you look at, you know, being in an attack in the street, the goal is not to tap him out, knock him out. Well, knock him out, yeah, but it's not to tap him out, knock him out, or, you know, turn him over to the police. Your objective is to escape. If I'm here and I'm talking to you and you're in my face and you're coming here, I don't whack and I strike you in the throat and boom, I palm strike here and you move back, I'm running. If I could run, I'm out as quickly as possible. You know, a lot of times too, what people don't cover is awareness. When I'm faced with my attacker, the first thing I do is I look at his hands. Does he have a weapon? Right? Is he angling off? Is he looking around? If you start doing stuff right now, so if I'm talking to you and I'm going, what's up, man? Hey, yeah, you're the jiu-jitsu guy, man. What's up, man? And I start doing this, and I can't see. Does your brain pick up, oh, he might have a weapon? Do you know how to angle, right? Without even looking, do you know that if I had a weapon and I was stabbing, boom, how do I jam it? Here, right? How do I strike with the other hand? So if I had a knife, this is when your grappling would come in to like, boom, right here. Again, if I had a knife, I'm stabbing here. So a lot of it is, and what I like to focus on, and this is what we, you know, what I'm teaching a lot is, you know, understanding the cues, the signs, being proactive, knowing what am I looking for, what am I looking at, how am I breaking down my attacker before a fight happens, being able to move a split second before he moves. And again, knowing what's my environment. Do I have a chair? Do I have a table? Am I holding something in my hands I can throw? If you don't train this, you won't actually think about it.
No, that makes sense, and I love the fact that you said that you stay like this or stay like this because you're protecting yourself. And many times I see people, for example, fighting, and they do like a huge mistake that one guy goes to the other one, and then he gives himself, he gives his chin, he doesn't protect, so that's cool. And yeah, so I think like many times like it's important to understand those tricky things that can happen in a street fight. I'm not like an expert on that. I didn't have too many street fights in my life, but it's cool to talk with you and see these different angles, especially for me that I came from Jiu-Jitsu. I see the Jiu-Jitsu angle. I don't see too much just like look to his hands.
Even when you looked at my hands for a weapon, you did this. Yeah. Whereas if I'm talking to you right now and I'm here, I'm looking like without even looking, I'm looking at your weight distribution, what is forward leaning here. If I saw this hand behind your pocket, if you're doing like this and I saw your hand, I'd be like, and you know, I'd be like, shit, he might have a weapon. If I see one hand come out, start pulling out a hand, boom, I'm stepping in right away to make sure. Maybe he has a knife, maybe he doesn't, but I'm not going to take those chances. Again, working at the clubs, you know, and I'm not here to say like, you know, working in a club, sometimes you threw out the 19-year-old kid who was drunk, but sometimes you had guys who actually, you know, did try to hit you. I've seen people get stabbed. And the reality is, you know, a lot of people, and I have knife defense videos where people are doing this, but a lot of times you don't even know who had the knife. It happens so fast, especially in a real environment, right? Where, you know, your environment will also dictate what you can and cannot do. You know, if you're in an elevator, a staircase, a bathroom stall, a car.
Yeah, there are so many different things.
Yeah, and that's the reality, right?
And just to finish, like I always hear about that most of the street fights when those happens, 90% of the times who wins is who hits the first strike.
And that's why, like,
what do you think about that?
In the DVDs that we've done, I focus so much on the first strike. Especially if the guy's not a martial artist and he's not a big fighter and he's gonna watch a video or train. I always tell people you have two options. I either defuse and walk away, or I go preemptive. I don't know you. If I didn't know you now and I was in the street, you walked up to me, I don't know, did you just get out of prison? Is the guy crazy? Is he gonna try to kill me? Does he have a knife? Does he have more friends? I don't know your mindset. So for me, I don't know how crazy you are and how much you're willing to go to hurt me. So I really have to option. I'm either gonna defuse the fight or I'm gonna go preemptive. Some people say, well, that makes you the attacker. No, because I'm gonna bring up my hands. I'm gonna try to defuse the situation. And at some point, if you're no longer communicating and you're still in my face, so you're walking towards me, now I'm doing this, and now he grabs me. So let's say he grabs me. So grab me, he does this, boom, I'm gonna hit back, headbutt and strike him as quickly as possible. I'm not gonna allow him, who's bigger, and on top of that, you know, he's an expert grappler, he'll fucking turn me into a noodle. I'm not gonna wait to see what he could do. I'm gonna go preemptive and strike him first. And like, never fight the other guy's fight. Again, and the objective is, keep it simple. I don't teach anything fancy. And, you know, and a lot of people say, well, against a good MMA and a great grappler, a lot of the stuff that I teach in terms of self-defense, it's for the average person. You don't need to be a great, muscled, skilled fighter. Not to say if you don't train, it's obviously going to help you. But
yeah, and I believe that most of the times that a street fight happens, it's like the average person against the average person.
absolutely.
If you start imagining like the average person against the jiu-jitsu guy, it's kind of like the average person against the guy who has a gun as well.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Because a lot of people say, well, if you're faced with an MMA guy, yes, obviously.
It's got 1% chance. 99 of the other
not.
guys
Most
of
the guys is like this. Yeah, man, what the fuck, man? They're doing this shit, and a lot of times they're gonna come in your face, and you see it on YouTube. All these guys picking a fight, none of them are. Most of them are not expert boxers or fighters or grapplers. They're just street guys.
Yeah,
right?
and you said that you have the option to hit first, and you have the option to refuse as well. So if you feel that the guy's gonna beat you up, you can always refuse as well, as long as you have the right technique to do that.
That's it. So if I keep my hands up and he's in my face, and I'm creating distance, and I'm talking to him, and I'm here, right, and I'm like, look, man, I really don't want to fight. And the guy might say, you know, apologize. And I've seen this in a fight outside a club where the guy had to apologize, and he's with his girlfriend. All the guy said apologize. And the guy didn't apologize. All he had to say, look, man, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it, and walk away. His ego got in the way, and they jumped him, and they beat the fucking shit out of him to the point that we had to jump in and break it up. But just to show you, like, I mean, you don't know who you're dealing with in the street, and that's the scary part. I know now you're one of the top grapplers in the world. I know what you're able. Already, I kind of have an idea of who you are, what you do. If I didn't know you, I wouldn't be like, maybe I'd be like, yeah, what's up, man? What the fuck? Next thing you know, boom, you whack me, you take me down, armbar, whatever it is. And that's the scary part. When you're in the street, you don't know who you're facing with. And that's why I say, as much as possible, diffuse, de-escalate, walk away. Keep your ego in check. But also be aware and be ready to come in.
Man, I love it. Man, great job, Nick. Thank you.
Guys, thanks.